Getting back to Earth for a moment, let's take a look at the big picture. This chart depicts the trend of my ability to control a power wheelchair over a period of 30 years. At about 20 years old, the progression of my disease began to show negative effects in this area. The vertical axis of this chart reflects my total capacity scores, as measured by the wheelchair skills test. And the horizontal axis denotes time from 1985 to 2015. From 1985 to 2004, I was navigating with proportional systems. This is represented by the blue line. In response to declining abilities, several interventions took place in 1994, 1999, and 2004. In 1994, after an extended illness, updated electronics were installed to accommodate a joystick, with maximum sensitivity, and minimum throw. This resulted in a modest increase in wheelchair control. Likewise, in 1999, I said goodbye to my beloved Everest and Jennings wheelchair, and switched to a Permobil, with an HMC VIC controller. This system essentially offered proportional navigation, based on finger movement alone. And thus, my capacity to control my power wheelchair increased significantly. However, and life always has its howevers. By 2003, I no longer had the needed range of motion to navigate with the VIC controller. At this point, you need to understand that these interventions were not being made in the hills of the Missouri Ozarks. All my seating and mobility, since 1990, has been provided through the Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota campus. And I can tell you, I have had an extraordinary, multidisciplinary team taking care of me these many years. But despite that, and despite a noble effort to try voice navigation, I spent 18 months in a manual chair. It wasn't until 2005 that I insisted that my rehabilitation team at Mayo give me a shot at single-switch wheelchair navigation. As the yellow line denotes, this intervention resulted in a huge increase in my total capacity to control my power wheelchair. There were some further gains associated with technology improvements and skills development. It is quite noteworthy that despite further disease progression, my power wheelchair control has not declined in 10 years. Hindsight, indeed, is 20/20. But if we look at the numbers, a single switch intervention in 1990 would have saved a lot of effort and frustration. I likely would have been opposed to such an idea that early in the game. But it is a very compelling argument not to view single-switch wheelchair navigation as a last resort. In a more positive light, this graphic clearly shows technology empowerment outpacing disease progression. And that is success.